looked at 3 countries from South Asia that we had data for, and those are Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. The most interesting finding from those countries is that there were really high percentages of don't know and refusals. So, for example, in India and Pakistan, we found 91% couldn't give an answer. I think that this stems from very high poverty in that area. Gross domestic product is not higher than 2,600 in all 3 of those countries. There's really high rates of illiteracy, and so frankly, I just don't think that the people are concerned with an election going on in the United States, partially because they probably just don't even know about it.
I looked at countries in the former Soviet Union, and particularly the Baltic states, so Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. And what we found is that a majority of respondents within those 3 countries did not state a preference for the candidates when asked who they would likely vote for. And further, when we followed up with that question about if they felt that the election would make a difference in their country, for Latvians and Lithuanians, they were split, really couldn't decide if it would make a difference or not in their country. And for Estonians, the clear majority was no, it wouldn't make a difference. Likely though, they just don't feel, as we saw in the question, the election makes a difference to their country. When we asked Georgians the same question, and we released an article about this a couple of months ago, Georgians, a majority of them, 55%, said the election does make a difference to their country. Now for Georgians, right now, what's important is their ascension into NATO. And so what president goes into the White House could make a difference to how strongly NATO continues to support their bid for membership.
I specifically focused on Sub-Saharan Africa, and like in the rest of the world, you see that a lot of people say they don't know in terms of whether they would favor an Obama win or a McCain win. So when you isolate that and you look at among those who have an opinion, you see that overall, and we surveyed people in 22 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, that a median of 56% are in favor of Obama winning the White House, and a median of 9% say they would be in favor of John McCain winning. So there's a definite, tilt toward Barack Obama here. What is really interesting here in this context is that many in Sub-Saharan Africa have been the recipients of a lot of aid from the Bush administration through various programs. So somehow they are not making the connection between the programs of the Bush administration with a potential John McCain administration.
In Latin America, across the 14 countries, a median of about 60% said they had no preference between the 2 candidates. Among those who did have a preference, Obama supporters outnumbered McCain supporters by about 3-1. I think it hasn't helped that there's been virtually no attention paid to Latin America during the course of the campaign. Even in the foreign policy debate on September 26th, there was very little mention of Latin American countries, passing mention of Venezuela and Cuba as potential security threats to the U.S. But that's about it. So that hasn't helped Latin Americans' perception that the outcome of the election is really not relevant to their country. So overall, about a median of about one-third of residents across the 14 countries feel that the outcome makes a difference to their countries. So one country that was particularly a little bit more interesting than the rest is Colombia, because there has been a little bit more attention paid to Colombia by McCain and Obama. McCain supports the free trade agreement, the U.S.-Colombia free trade agreement that's pending in Congress. Whereas Obama takes a more cautious approach given that there's ongoing violence against Colombian labor leaders. In Colombia, it was the country in the region where the most people thought the outcome would actually make a difference to their country. About half of residents said it would make a difference. And there, it was also the region in which support for McCain was the strongest. 16% said they would prefer McCain to win, although he was still outnumbered by 2 to 1. 38% said they preferred that Obama win. So